Okay, so this is the Drupal usability meeting for February 15th, 2017. And we discussed possibly looking at issues to review that need usability feedback, and or to talk about Seville a bit, the Drupal Dev Day sprint plans. And I just started explaining before we started the recording that I signed up for the usability, the migrate, the multilingual, and the media sprints.
Yeah.
It will be a bit split between different things, but at least all the things going on for multilingual are also migrate recently. So basically, we are working with the migrate team on multilingual migrations. So that's good. And the media and usability are overlap quite a bit. So
yep,
not that bad.
So
Any
yeah,
others?
I don't sign up for things. That means it's like the same, right? Signing up for everything or signing up for nothing. I am around. Go ahead.
I'll also sign up for usability issues. And if there's accessibility, then I'm also happy to work on the overlap between usability and accessibility issues.
Mm-hmm. Any other concrete plans that do you think we should talk about in Seville, or we should look at? Any big things that we should start?
Going through the issues again and marking them, so that we have a proper list lined up for whoever shows up on the first day.
Yeah, so that's like also that we need to be prepared for UX mentoring, say, right? For new people who might want to join the efforts. Yeah.
Yes.
So there's that, and then so how I never have a good feel for. It feels like we're in an in-between phase right now. We're like finishing 8.3. 8.4 is you can select issues and assign them to 8.4. Gabor, do you have a bit of a feel where we are right now? What to focus on? Is it polishing 8.3?
So the beta is going to 8.3 beta 1 is going to be released today, February 15th, Wednesday, I believe, and this marks start of stabilizing Drupal 8.3. So there was a 2-week period in the last 2 weeks where some issues were backported from 8.4 to 8.3, like the status page redesign got backported, so it will be released in 8.3. But from now on, all the major improvements should happen in 8.4 exclusively, so they will not be backported in the interest of stabilizing 8.3. So we should focus on 8.4, and also as how it relates to Seville. By the time Seville comes around, there will be only 2 weeks left before the release of 8.3, so that would definitely focus on 8.4.
Right.
And in the meantime, I'm asking Drupal Dev Days on Twitter if they have a suggested tag for issues on Drupal.org.
Okay, yeah. And then I guess it would be good for any of the initiative people who are in Seville to clarify what the focus is for 8.4 for each of those initiatives. I mean, it's media library, I guess, for for media.
Yeah.
But it's also be interesting to know what the workflow initiative is looking to achieve specifically in the upcoming release, etc. Okay.
So actually, all the experimental modules probably also all need work on their help texts. If there's a few of them, I'll probably make issues for that as well, for which also leads to usability testing, I found, when I looked at the settings trace, for example.
Yeah, there's probably also other usability issues with them that need to be solved for them to stabilize.
Yeah,
So
it's true that it's.
one of the things that the committers want to focus for experimental module is to stabilize more of them, because we are having too much instability now as we are adding more and more experimental modules. So if we can stabilize some of them soon, that would be nice. Also, some of them will be in danger of being removed in 8.4 if they're not stabilized, so they need to be. So modules like place block and others that are heavy on the UI need this kind of feedback, whether they are fine.
Right, and Antje makes a good point that, for example, help text, etc., are the UI parts of stabilizing things, I guess. But I'm also suspecting that much of the stabilizing is actually actual hardcore code underlying the functionality. So maybe in Seville, it's not only Seville, but we have to look into how we can help support stabilizing those modules.
Yeah.
Okay.
One idea that I had for Milan but didn't work out was maybe to have some usability testing at the first day of the sprint and just see where things are, and maybe have another round of usability testing later, so that we can actually test whatever work has been done. If we have somebody who can run at least simple usability testing.
I think that's a useful idea. Then the question becomes, do we want to do something general, or do we know a specific area that we want to test and that we know people will work on, so that we will have changes to test at the end, right?
Yeah, we need both. The issues that we said, okay, we could test them and then make any improvements on that, as well as somebody, who actually be willing and able to run usability testing.
Yeah.
I mean, at least on the level of asking a few people whether they can find the right buttons. Not necessarily with a really big setup, because I don't know whether, well, I think the Pret Park where we're staying doesn't have that.
Yeah, I think as if we have some scripts that those are the easy parts to plan, or maybe not. So I mean, it's easier than trying to find the perfect hardware setup. And we can use Google Hangouts on air and record people and their faces and their screens and everything.
Yeah, technology shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need like a usability testing facility or anything. That's what I mean.
Okay, but that's definitely something we could look into and just see how we can make it happen. But it would be fun, because then we get results, right? And we have.
Yeah, and it also might show more people how to do usability testing.
Yeah.
On getting more developers across the threshold of not daring to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
Okay. Anything else we need to think of for 3? Or
what clothes to wear?
I'm traveling for 4 weeks. I travel light.
Yes. Okay. And I think that's it. I guess we should promote that we're there, right? So that UX is a thing at Drupal Developer Days in Seville.
Yes.
But this is a good start, I think. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. What's next?
You wanted to look at issues that needed review?
Yes, I can do that. Let's see. This is unprepared. I'm not necessarily in the know about those issues, but let's see. I have the link open. It's a bookmark. So this is a search on the issues that are open and are tagged with needs usability review, which means that for the issue to meaningfully make progress, we need to provide some input on the user experience, on the design.
So Roy, I think we are looking at your other screen, your Slack.
Probably.
It's nice, but it's not a
Where's the stop sharing screen? Or did I already stop?
Yeah, you already did.
Okay. Let's see. I think it's this one. Is it? It is. Yes.
Yeah.
So you can search for issues, of course, and if issues are tagged need usability review, then that input is needed for the issue to make progress. We discussed the top one yesterday. I have to put in the feedback still, but we'll do that. It's fun to see that a couple of concept projects are using it as well. But let's just open improve time zone selector with opt groups.
Yeah, the previous one we reviewed yesterday, just for the sake of.
Yes, we reviewed that yesterday.
Yeah.
Pretty extensively. Okay. When selecting a time zone, you have to choose from a list of 422 items. Quickly finding an entry in this list can be difficult. Usually you have to look through options with the same region. Group the options by region, listing the city so that typing will select the appropriate city. So what is happening here is that, so this is the current state where we have Pacific in front of everything in Pacific?
Yes. And
okay, yes, this is before. Yeah.
I'd actually reviewed that during the sprint already. So the proposed change is that instead of having Pacific, instead of every single city in front of Pacific, you actually have them grouped by Pacific, which means then you can actually, well, A, it's easier to read, and B, if you start typing, you actually come to the correct city. So it's an accessibility improvement also because you can actually, instead of scrolling, can type for the name.
Exactly.
But I also thought it was a good usability improvement, which is why I tagged it with usability as well.
Okay. Okay. The idea sounds very sane to me. I don't, let's see, if we start at the bottom where we are. A related issue. Let's change for 8.4 now. The latest patch is nitpick on the code. I don't see anyone objecting to this very sensible idea. It has accessibility review. Wow.
Yeah, it started as an accessibility issue.
Yeah. Okay. So we can say
yes.
Yes, please. No brain improvement. Let's see. Being but especially the visual grouping makes. That means we can remove the tag. To set it RTBC, we should probably test it, right? It looks like it's good. Come on.
That's very white.
Yeah. So, waiting for Drupal.org. I don't know. Maybe my browser is acting up.
Yeah.
It is, I think. Uh-oh. So good thing you started to hang out, Gabor, because I think I'm force quitting this.
Okay.
Yes, this is the.
All the browsers, all the tabs.
Ah!
Oh, there it is.
Ooh. Still difficult. Man, this is exciting television, people. Yes, come on. I'm closing it. Wait. Yeah. That's not even the link I wanted to click. So do we want to review it now and look at it in Simply Test?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Okay. Simplytest.me. We choose to start a project, and we should target it for 8.4. Was it at the bottom? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we have advanced options to add a patch. Nope. This is the patch. Copy the link. And we paste the link to the patch. And we launch a sandbox. Where do I find this nice bit of user interface?
It should come up under the configuration.
In the installation already. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Should speed up the review. You don't need to install everything. Oh, well. It's mostly installed at that screen.
Yeah.
I don't usually see that install table anymore, screen anymore. Just realized that I install everything with Composer now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun to see.
This is our animated progress bar. Default time zone. look. This is the expected behavior indeed. We have city names grouped by the time zone. Is that true?
By the regions.
By the regions, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So suppose I lived in Barcelona.
Then you can start typing Barcelona in, and you should get there.
And it will find Barbados. And it won't refine after 3 characters. I think that's something in the system. So there's nothing else in Amsterdam. Melbourne, that's in there. New. I tried to do Barcelona, see, and it finds bar now. And I can't refine to further than 3 characters. The first 3 characters. So now, if I want to find it, I need to find Europe. Is that?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of happening, but that's lucky because it found UCLA. EUR, AMS, yeah. So it's not foolproof.
So how was it before? Was it like Europe/something instead of the up groups?
Before that, it's a list where every single city has, for example, Europe and then / or colon, Amsterdam, Europe, Barcelona, Europe, this and that. And you could only get it by scrolling through.
Yeah, because that wouldn't work for autocomplete either, right? Because typing Barcelona and
you couldn't type at all because you would have to type the whole Europe first.
Yeah, Europe / bar or something. Yeah.
So even if it's not foolproof, it is definitely an improvement to what it was before.
Yeah, I agree. It looks like it only picking the first 2 characters even. I wanted to find Pacific. But maybe, I don't know how if that is a limitation of select lists under OS 10, or if it's a limitation of what select lists do. But okay, typing is a relative power user feature anyway. Being able to just scroll a readable and scan a readable list is definitely a worthwhile improvement.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you want to have a peek at the code, Gabor? Or
I can take a look, sure. It says system time zones. And I guess it gave system time zones a new argument, optional argument. It was not there before. I guess that's backwards compatible.
Oh, that's the second. True, yeah.
Yeah, all of these changes are basically calling that function with the new optional argument. So I guess they keep backwards compatibility by making this an optional feature, and then changing every use to use the optional feature in core. So that new grouped parameter, which is optional, says whether the time zone should be grouped by region. And if we are asked to group the zones by region, says group zones, blah, blah, explodes, and then, yeah, I gave the group name the region name, and then sorts them. Yeah, seems fine. The only thing that I noticed is the arguments do not have type information, the blank and the grouped in the param. So I can post that on the issue.
Okay.
But yeah, otherwise looks good.
So you have an initial. You have one more nitpick then, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It looks like a pretty straightforward patch, but otherwise.
And the question with the number of characters is it doesn't have a restriction to number of characters. It just doesn't have Barcelona in there.
Ah.
So it's not restricted to number of characters.
But okay.
And the list is the same as before. So
Okay, and there's Casablanca, and I also saw something called Casey, Casey. Okay, there we go. All right. Removing the tag and posting my comment. Let's see if somebody else changed. No. Okay. And now Gawar could follow up.
I'm doing it now.
Yep.
It's fun. Instagram. So what's the next one?
Yeah. This one. Users deleted a field instead of going back.
Sounds fun.
Field UI. Yeah. It was marked as a minor issue, I think, right from this. Kevin marked it minor. It may have. It was reported as a normal issue. What is the case during usability testing? When creating or modifying content types, some participants, once they realized they had chosen the wrong field settings, deleted the field. They did not realize they could move back to a previous step in the workflow to change that setting. The proposed resolution is to redesign the creation, I guess, and configuring of a field as a more like a wizard style step-by-step process. So that would mean that the design adds workflow indicators, step 1, 2, 3 off, 1, 2, 3, or 4, which indeed would have some user interface changes. Let's see, no screenshots just yet.
Yeah, that's not what the patch does from looking at it. That's a save and finish button and save and previous button.
So that's true. This ended up. Let's see. Okay. I have a patch that does. What does it do? It is that adding the previous button. That is the new thing.
Yeah, it's changing save settings to save and finish, and previous to save and previous or something.
Oh yes, the discussion then ended, or is now at the point where it becomes a discussion of what to call the label for the back button. So it's not a wizard exactly, but it's a clear back button.
Mm-hmm.
But the conclusion is that even if you click back,
You will save what you did.
you will save what you did, right?
Do they have this kind of previous button in other modules?
I'm not aware.
Cannot think of it. This pattern has already been used elsewhere in the views models.
Oh. Maybe.
I can't remember ever seeing it. Can I also mark this issue as neat screenshots?
Yes. Where could that be? Just if I would add a new field. Add and configure fields. Apply, cancel, remove. No. If I apply, then the model closes, so it's not here. If I add a filter, add and configure filter criteria. This no. Applies, cancel, remove.
Yeah, it has cancel button, but
yeah, that's not a previous. We should probably ask for proof of that statement because yeah, we don't have it. At least I couldn't find it just so soon. What do we think of the idea to provide this previous
At
button?
the moment, I don't quite see how it's working. Because, for example, if you go back to a field that has already been saved, will this button show up, and where does it bring you?
Right.
So if you already have that functionality somewhere, then it might be useful. But if it's a new concept, then I think it would be good to look at it in long detail to see whether we're introducing something that could become messy.
Indeed.
Yeah, the concept of saving and going back sounds a bit strange to me.
Yes, that maybe that's even like sort of normal, but we should maybe not mention it. I don't know. Right. I think that needs to be our feedback, right? And, drafting the comment here for now. Clara, you had a good point. How does this work with pre? Changing an existing field Is that?
I think what they might mean with that it's already been used in views is that when you set up a new view, you get a few options in a wizard kind of style. That saves those few options, and then, but no, that doesn't actually have a previous button either.
Okay.
So. I've already added the needs screenshot tag, by the way.
Okay. So, I want to be sure that. That second point, a good phrasing of what you were saying, Antje?
Yeah, I think that fits it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If the button shows up, it's a question where's the previous then?
Do you mean when you? But can you go to this page, to that page, like step 2 directly?
Well, if you can't go to step 2 directly, then it's definitely a problem. Because once you are working on a site that already has the fields, you don't want to go through a page that you don't need to change on every time you're changing you're configuring an existing field.
That's true.
And in the drop-down menu for fields, you already have the kind of 3 different pages you can go to directly. So if the previous button shows up, then I would expect that I go back to the list where I came from.
Yeah.
And not to another page in the.
Yeah, that's true.
That's always the problem with previous buttons.
Yes. Back in the history, or back in expectations, or back in the
back in somebody else's expectations.
Yes. Agree on, and yes. That's our initial needs usability review.
Yeah.
Responsive. Okay. With 4 minutes left, I have to move to a next meeting at 10 o'clock. So I will stop screen sharing here.
Yeah, no problem. That's good.
Yeah.
I'll see you all in Seville.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be in London before that.
Ah, okay.
Quite some meetings before, so
Yes, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
All right. See you there.
right.
Okay.
Bye.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.